What's up, LTD addicts? Let's talk about the ongoing war for the lower right-hand quadrant of your website. Is it best to have a live chat, or how about a knowledge base? Maybe a click to schedule a call button? Well, up until now, you had to choose one or the other. It was very hard or clunky to have more than one widget on your website. Meet Birdseed. This is a new lifetime deal in Appusmo, and it promises to let you choose between up to 12 tools that you can place in the lower right-hand quadrant of your website in a nice, elegant way. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the tool and help you decide whether it's a worthwhile investment for your business. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Dave from that LTD.life, where I review software tools with lifetime offers. If you're into that sort of thing, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to get notified when new reviews are posted. All right, let's get to it. Here is Birdseed over on Appusmo. This one is $49 per code, and there are some stacking options, as we'll see in a moment here. All right, here are the plan details. This is actually fairly simple to understand. You just need one code per website that you want to manage. At 3 codes, you unlock their agency access, which allows you to manage multiple websites with a single login. So if you're looking to use this tool for clients, you'll probably want to stack up to 3. Now, in terms of users, because this is actually a pretty important part of the deal, this tool does have live chat built in. So if you're using this on client accounts, they're going to need to be able to log in, respond to client requests without seeing any of your other clients, obviously for confidentiality reasons. And you're going to get 15 users per account. So that's pretty generous. You shouldn't really need more than 15 people manning the live chat at any given time. So I don't see that as a restriction. So just to emphasize here, that would be 15 users per account. So here we get 3 accounts. We'd have 45 users available distributed amongst those 3 accounts. You are limited to the 15 per account, so you couldn't spill them over, just FYI. All right, let's get right into it. I've already got Birdseed installed here. Actually, I don't have it installed, but I have an account set up. We'll go through the process of getting it running on a live website in this video, look at all the features, and discuss some of the pros and cons of using it. So here we go. This is what it looks like when you first sign up for Birdseed. It's going to ask you to style your account, and you can see the style options right here. You can control whether or not the little widget, here's the preview, by the way, so it's really nice. You can see over in the corner what it's going to look like as you're working on it. So I can decide whether or not I see it at all, so hide or show. Pulsation, so this allows me to have the launch button pulsate a little bit and grab people's attention. Position, I can choose to either position this on the left or right-hand side of the screen. And the footer branding, that is right here where it says powered by Birdseed. You can easily toggle that off. All right, now once I hit preview changes here, that will actually update in the corner. And you can see now that Birdseed logo has been removed. All right, we can have some introduction text right now. The default just says, welcome, choose an option below to connect with us. And we can also have a button for the launch button, which is right now set to this question mark. But let's say I wanted to have it maybe be a chat bubble. I could do that and then just hit preview changes again, and it will refresh right down here. There's also the option to add your own icon. That's this little cloud button down here. It looks like it might actually be one of the icons that you can choose. However, it's not. When I click this, it gives me the option to choose a file. And let me actually go ahead and upload that LTD Life logo here, and we can see how that looks. All right, so I've uploaded the file and it popped open this image cropper, which is dominating the entire screen. So perhaps I've uploaded too large of an image, although it didn't really specify any dimensions. So I'd consider this a bit of a bug. You'd think it'd be able to resize it down inside of the app in order to, because this is the same icon that I use for social media or anytime I post the logo online. I just grab this, and of course it's larger than I need. But let's see if I hit this crop image. Okay, so it does kind of scale it down there, but that was just a kind of a weird display. I'm using the scroll wheel on my mouse actually, and it's resizing the icon right here, but it looks like it doesn't have quite enough room on the sides. And, you know, quite frankly, that could be a problem with the image. Although I think it is being used on things like Twitter, where it's going to do the same option here where it kind of scrolls out. So let me see if there's a way I can't zoom out any further. So it doesn't look like this icon is going to work. Let me grab a different version and I'll try again. All right, I've got a black version right now and it looks like it's going to fit inside the crop a little better. Again, this is kind of wacky how it's pulling up the preview so massive. Let me hit this crop image button and that actually opens the tool. and now I can't see the image at all. So let me see if it's way down here at the bottom. The scroll is not working at this point. So yeah, I would definitely consider this a bit buggy. Oh, there we go. I got it to function. And I can move it around a little bit. Still not able to get it to fit within the window, but let's just roll with it here and just know that this probably needs to be, oh, there we go. I was able to zoom out. And there we go. All right, so this is functioning a little bit buggy right now, but it seems like something they would be able to fix. I'll go ahead and hit save here. And there we go. That looks pretty nice. Let's go ahead and preview the changes. Probably a little small, but yeah, I just wanted to try uploading my own icon to see what it looks like. Let's see. It's not reloading here. Oh, the preview isn't coming up. Looks like I've completely broken the tool. Let me go back to one of their default icons and see if I can get this to come back. Okay, once I switched to one of their built-in icons, the preview came right back. It looks like this custom icon feature is just really not quite developed yet. Now, this is a pretty early version of this tool, so I would expect that to get fixed, fairly quickly. All right, and then we can also change the colors, whether the primary color or the link color. So these would be the link colors, and of course, this is the primary color. Let's go ahead and choose some different colors here just to really make it obvious that things are changing. I'll change it to purple, and I'll change the link color to red. Not a great color combo, but just to really emphasize, okay, so, it's kind of changing everything to, okay, so it looks like this primary color updated, but the link color didn't update these links as I thought they would. So this must be for something else, and I'm not really able to tell what that link color refers to at this point. All right, so let's hit save and continue up here on step 1. I think well, you know what, before I go on, I can't live like with that color combo, even if it works. Let's just choose purple, hit preview changes, and now I will hit save and continue. Step 2 is set your business hours. Now, in my opinion, this is a pretty cool feature because this allows you to have different tools display when your business is open versus when you're away from your desk or your business is closed. So, the obvious example here is you give people the option for a live chat when you're available, and that goes away when you're away from your desk. So that's a really cool feature. Let's go ahead and set up some business hours here so we can kind of test how this works. Okay, so I just updated my time zone up here to the one that I'm in. I'm using the 12-hour time format, and it looks like it's got me scheduled to work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is fine by me. It's pretty cool over here. You can add breaks. So let's say you take a half hour off every day for lunch. You'd be able to go over here where it says breaks, click the little disclosure triangle, and add an additional break. So let's say I'd click right here, this little clock, and that pops open the break. It looks like you can add 3. That would be my guess with the user interface here, which is weird. You'd think you could add as many breaks as you want, but they limit you to 3. So let's go ahead and take a half-hour break here that starts at noon and it goes for 30 minutes. And you know what? I'm going to take another 15-minute break, let's say at 2 o'clock for, oh, that's kind of a downer. You can only set the breaks for a half hour or more. So it looks like it says 1 hour, 2 hours. I don't know why, they probably could just add in, something I could just key in how many minutes I want. I think that'd be a better option here. But, 30-minute break, that's just fine. I'll add 2 throughout the day, and let's go move on from here. I'll hit the disclosure triangle. It does tell me how many breaks are scheduled so that if I'm not, if I don't have the disclosure triangle open, I can see, oh, there's a break scheduled there. Let me not forget that. I wonder about this eye here, what significance that icon has, because it kind of looks like maybe they're set to be turned off or something, but clicking on it just opens up that disclosure triangle. So a little bit of a peculiar user interface thing, although it doesn't really bother me that much. All right, so on Monday only, I have set the breaks. It would be cool, I think, just kind of thinking of additional features, give me the option to schedule the breaks every day of the week when I'm setting it up. So maybe just like have a little, day selector down here where I could click Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Save you a little bit of time if you set the breaks up, you take lunch at the same time every day. Anyway, let's continue to the next step here. Hit save and continue. And here it wants me to choose the tools that I want to show up in the widget. Now, right now we have live chat, request a call, and schedule a meeting. However, if you notice over here, we also have email capture and meeting schedule. So let's figure out what is going on here. I can click on live chat, and this shows the preview over here for the live chat. I can upload my own little video to introduce the live chat feature. That's a really nice touch. You can set this to show up always, only during working hours or after hours. The panel tile, it says live chat with us now. That's going to be this copy right here. We can change the introduction text right here. The button text has some options available to you, and you can also change the feed, so you can request people to provide feedback about the chat. I'm sure you've done that on a live chat before where it says, please tell us about how we're doing. You have the option to do that as well. And then down here is the form. So you're asking people to add, say, their first and last name, or, I like to always ask for an email address when I'm doing a live chat so that, if you get disconnected, you'd have a way to contact someone. So the way this would work, you just choose one of these different types of options, and then it will validate that option. So I could say email, and it'll make sure that, this is being entered as an email address and someone doesn't just type, do re mi into the box and not have it send. Okay, so I've added that option. Let me go ahead and hit save here, and we should be able to see that update with the email field. All right, that's looking pretty good. I could also change the introduction message, which would be like, hey, how can I help you? And this will be sent to users when they start using the chat. Of course, we have options for the chat icon down here. Now, this is going to display in the previous screen. So I don't know if it lets you go back. I don't think it lets you navigate around your widget here. But let's say I changed it to be these two people talking. I hit save here. Now, you're not going to see that reflected on this screen at all. However, if I went back to my dashboard and saw the main styling, then I should see that live chat. Here are the two people talking. So again, a slight user interface, clunkiness where there should be a way to go back and forth inside of that preview. Although I suppose they made the decision to decide, well, we want people to be locked into the screen they're editing so they don't get lost and are trying to edit screens that there are no features available. But then maybe you want to add the icon tools right to this screen. Like, can I change it from right here? Well, it can't. So in my opinion, it would be better to change the icon right in this screen. But I'm being probably overly critical about that. Let's move on to the next section. And this is just to install Birdseed. So we get an embed code right over here, and we're just going to copy and paste this into our website before the closing body tag. Now, if you're using something like WordPress, this is very easy to do with a headers and footers plugin. Or maybe you're using the Astra Pro theme, which is the theme that I use on all my sites, and it has custom layouts where you can actually just insert it right there. So let me go ahead and install this on my WordPress website, and from there we can see what it looks like on the front end. So here I am in the back end of the That LTD Life website, and here I'm using the custom layouts option that comes with Astra Pro. So if you're not using Astra Pro theme, you won't find this option. Once again, I recommend just using whatever option your theme has to embed something like a Facebook tracking pixel, or if there is not one on the theme you're using, you can get a new theme. But besides that, just go over to the plugin directory in the WordPress repository and add the headers and footers code. We've actually covered that in this channel before. So I'm going to go ahead and move on, show you how I do it with Astra, because I think Astra is a great theme. So I'm going to enable the code editor here. Just paste in that code over from Birdseed. Oh, looks like it didn't copy. Let me try that again. I'll paste in that code. Ooh, their copy button is not functioning. That's a bit of a bummer. All right, so I'll just copy it manually. Not a big deal, however, a bit weird. So we're noticing some just kind of fit and finish aspects of Birdseed that's not quite up to snuff yet. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give this the title Birdseed. And then under layout, I'm going to go ahead and choose hooks. And I will end up displaying this. I believe they wanted it in the before the body close tag. So I'm going to add this to body bottom, which is going to be a little off the window here, but you'll see it show up in a second here. So this is body bottom. It adds it to the bottom of the body tag, of course. You don't have to mess with the priority or the spacing here. However, I do want to display it on the entire website, and we can leave the user roles as is. I'll go ahead and publish this. And now let's go back to the That LTD Life website. All right, so I went ahead and loaded up the front end of the website, and here you go. You can see it has that pulsating animation to it that we talked about in the setup. And if I click on that, I'll be able to see the options that I created. So I'd be able to schedule a meeting, choosing a day and time. I'd be able to request a call, choosing the time that I want, add my first and last name. and of course do some live chat here where I could try out the interface. Now I'm going to take you through each of the other tools that are available inside of Birdseed, but first, why don't we go ahead and try out the live chat, just kind of see what it looks like on the front end and the back end. Okay, so I went ahead and initiated the chat, and you can see here it says waiting for a chat operator to join. I just heard a notification, kind of on the back end of Birdseed telling me that there is a new chat initiated. However, I'm not getting that welcome message. If you remember, I said something like, hey, how can I help you today? So maybe that displays after the operator joins. Now, it would be nice if there was some kind of option here to, say, hey, it looks like we're not available right now. We'll contact you by email or something like that. Actually, let's go and see if there is on the back end of Birdseed. So here's the back end of the chat. You can see it gives me some information about the user. So it gives me a map of where they're located. And this is fairly accurate. It's not exactly right what city I'm in, but it's close by. It tells me the information provided through that form that we set up. So in this case, first name, last name, as well as email address. Then some visitor details, things like my IP address, what operating system I'm using, as well as how many times I've been to the website. So this is pretty helpful information and on par with other more expensive options for chat. So just on its own is a chat client. This does a pretty decent job right out of the gates. Now let's go ahead and take this chat and see what it looks like on the back end. So just by hitting take this chat or take chat, let's see if it updates over here. It doesn't really do anything. So let me go ahead and send a message. Now it looks like it says, hey, how can I help you? So I would expect that to have been sent, but looks like it didn't. So I'll just send another message as a user here. All right, so I sent a message and it says the chat agent is typing automatically. That's interesting. So already there's kind of some incongruency here with, this shows that I've sent this message, but on the other end, the user doesn't see that. So that's a little bit troubling. So here it says hello, and I can say, hi, how are you? And let's see what that looks like on the other end. All right, great. So there it shows up. I just have a purple icon. So there's probably a way to update that. We'll definitely want to investigate it. But overall, this looks fairly nice. Let's dig into some of the chat features and find out what we can do to customize this and make it look a little bit better. All right, back in Birdseed, I'm going to go over to where it says Customize Tools right over here in the sidebar. And let's open up that live chat, which we were looking at before, and see what sort of options we have during the actual chat. Now, I am curious why this introduction message was not displayed. And also, is there any way to change the agent icon? Perhaps that's done as a user. Let's check that out. So here's the option that says Manage Users. You can see that this is getting cut off, like a Z-index thing where the movie is actually probably set to be a higher priority than the icon. That's interesting. All right, let's hit Manage Users. And well, that's funny. I've got a purple widget here. Let's go ahead and edit the user. Inside of Edit User, I can update my name and email address, set a role so we can have users as well as admins, and then I can get alerts for the different types of tools. However, there's no options to change that icon. That's kind of what I'm after right now is why do I have a purple widget here? And actually, it looks like that purple widget has changed a little bit since the last time I was on this screen. It has kind of like a broken image link here. So something is going wrong with that chat. So the chat's working. One message was lost. I can't find a way to customize that icon, but overall it's functioning. It's not completely broken. Let's go ahead and look at some of the other tools that are available. And then later we'll talk about how this can integrate with other things like your CRM or your email autoresponder. Okay, so let's go back over to Customize Tools. And let's look at the next one here, which is a contact form. Now, here's what the contact form will look like. Again, you have the ability to embed a video. You don't have to have this. If you want to remove it, you certainly can. And there it refreshes just with a standard contact form, And you can edit the fields that are shown. So maybe you don't want people to, leave their phone number, or you want to make it so that the phone number is not required. You could just click into that field and toggle off the screen, and then that will go away as soon as I hit save over here, that little star to indicate that it's required. There we go. So this functions pretty much like you'd expect, where you can just build out your form, adding more and more fields or removing them with a little trash can over here. We can customize the introduction text as well as the button. So if you wanted to say, contact me instead of submit, you'd be able to modify that. Then after someone fills out your form, you can send a confirmation email just to indicate that you received their message. And then that confirmation email will include a response email so that people can send you a message back. Right now, it's only going to be the one user I've added to my account. Although remember, you can add up to 15 users. So if you have a dedicated email address you want to add here, you just set that up as a user inside of Birdseed and it would work. And then here is the main navigation icons. This is where you can set up the icon that shows on the screen before this. So let's say I wanted to change it to this little person with an envelope next to their head. I could do that and hit save. And then when I go to the previous screen, that would display. However, right now it's considered working hours and the visibility for this is set only during after hours. Of course, the thinking here would be during working hours, you're going to have live chat display. And then when it's after hours, you'll have the contact form display. Fairly logical, but to see what this looks like, let's go ahead and display it always. And I'll go back to the customized tools screen so I can see that icon show up over here. And there it is with my little person with a envelope next to their head. Now I'll say that that's a lot of detail for that small of an icon. I think most people would have a hard time making out what that was. So probably just a bad choice for an icon overall. All right, so that's the contact form. The call request form is going to function very similarly. Instead of having just a message field down here, which by the way, you can still add a message field, right? I can go in here, edit this and change it to a custom text field. A text box would allow someone to enter more information. I could say, send us a message. And if I update it, this would function almost identical to the previous field, except someone has the ability to request a certain time for a call. So the call response time right here is set to be 5 minutes. So you display this, hey, I'm going to call you within 5 minutes. We probably want to indicate that, I'll call you within 5 minutes because just this 5 button here kind of looks like 5 o'clock to me. So it's not very clear that I will give you a call back within. So maybe I would change this text right here to say, fill out this form and one of our agents will call you within 5 minutes. And let's go ahead and update that and see what it looks like. There. Now it's a little bit more clear what that means. I think altogether, I don't really need this right here. I can do without that. So I guess the point of having this type of tool rather than just using a form is that you can display this giant icon that says 5. But in addition to that, you can have one contact form that displays during hours and then a different type of contact form that displays after hours. So this, of course, being the one you'd want to display only during working hours. Now, that brings up another point about Toolseed in that you can only have one type of each tool. So I couldn't have, say, a live chat dedicated during working hours and then a different live chat during after hours. That's not possible. I mean, I don't know how that would even make sense, but you get the idea. You might have two different contact forms, one for during hours and one during after hours. And instead of doing that, they've just given you a call request form, which you could use just as a regular contact form if you wanted. All right, email capture. This is very similar to all the other forms we've seen. So as you can see, as I go through this, yes, these are nice. These look good. I'm not trying to dismiss the tool. However, they're primarily the same, right? So a contact form versus an email capture. There's not a lot of different functionality here. They're just calling the same thing, something different, right? So I can confirm with the user. I mean, these are almost identical to the contact form that we've seen. So just keep that in mind. This is basically a third type of contact form. All right, next one is to schedule a meeting. Now this does have different functionality in that it's going to allow you to have people to choose a time to schedule with you. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is set up your event types down here. By default, we have a meeting, but we could go ahead and manage the event types and I'll click into the meeting and be able to see all of the options for scheduling a meeting. So right now it's set to display during the working hours, and the default meeting length is 30 minutes. And it says there's an unlimited number of appointments per time slot. I could change that to be 1 appointment per time slot. I could build out the form right here. I could change the calendar event in terms of calling it something else. I could change it to be, a discovery call or something like that. And then we can set up the confirmation email right here. And we can also connect to our Google Calendar, which is essential because if we can't connect to Google Calendar, we're going to get double bookings and things will get crazy. So you'd want to click on this, link up to your Google Calendar, and then it'll be able to tell if you already have something scheduled at that time, and it won't show up as available to the users on the front end. All right, so there is the first 5 tools. However, we're not even halfway done yet. Let's look at some additional tools by clicking that green button here where it says Add Tool. These are the other options available to us. The Knowledge Library, which allows you to add an index of, say, frequently asked questions or common support issues. You could add documents right inside of Birdseed to help people out. I'll show you how that works. We have a phone contact that just allows you to display your phone number to get phone calls. There is a link launcher, which is essentially just adding a link to this menu right over here. We can do a video showcase so that, in my case, this is a really good example. Let's say I want a video to pop up and show someone, what that LTD life is all about. That might be a really good use case for a website, for a web YouTube channel like mine. We can also have customer testimonials. In fact, you can even request testimonials right through Birdseed, so that's pretty nice. And we can also show a timeline of events or milestones. So, maybe be the YouTube channel launches on May 2nd, and then 3 months later, we hit 1,000 subscribers, something like that. All right, let's go ahead and dig a little bit deeper into these tools. Let's start off with the Knowledge Library. I'll open this one up and see the options. All right, so here it's set to display only during working hours. I think that's kind of an interesting approach. I would probably want this always to display. Don't you want people to be able to find answers on their own? You can name this, so I could say knowledge base, I could say FAQ, anything you want. Search text, so I could say search for a topic or search for your woes, whatever you want to enter here. Now, the label type is to allow people to sort by the different types of questions and answers you have. So right now it says type most common, but I could say, genre as a synonym and hit save here, and we'll see that text update over on the side. Now it says genre, and there's really nothing here. This section right here is where I can go ahead and add my frequently asked questions. Now, this most common is actually a section. So you can see we have the 2 options here to add an FAQ item or to add a section. So right now under most common, I don't have anything, but let's go ahead and add an item. And I can put this under the section most common, and I'll say, what is your favorite color? And the answer is green, the color of money. All right, so we'll go ahead and hit save here. And now this should update over here, and it shows that one question. And if I click on it, it looks like it doesn't display in the preview. But let's go ahead and save this, and we can actually see it on the back end over here. I'll close out of the chat, and let's go ahead and end chat. I can give the feedback. So this is a nice little tangent, but you can see this is what the feedback interface looks like. Let's say I rate myself 4 out of 5 stars and say, nice job, but you could have introduced yourself, and send feedback. All right, so it says, thanks, all done. Let me get out of here. Now I'm going to refresh the page to see those new options show up, and there they are. Here's the frequently asked question that I just added. You can see, what is your favorite color? I can click on that, and it just displays the document right in line. So I think this is a really nice way to add a knowledge base. However, for more complex items where you might have, say, 1,000 words about a subject, it would be nice to be able to link this out to a full screen website rather than have everything be in this little widget. As of now, there's just no option to do that. So you kind of have to think, are my frequently asked questions going to fit inside of 4 or 5 sentences? Are the answers that I give people going to fit inside of, say, one window here? Because people don't want to be scrolling through a massive amount of text inside a chat bubble. All right, let's head back and look at some of the other tools. I'm going to go back to add tool. Let's choose the phone contact here from the top. This just allows you to add a way for people to call you. It's interesting that the default icon here is a star. I don't know that that really makes much sense to me. Let's go ahead and change that to a phone. I'll give it a title of office and the phone number being 555-555. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can add some hours out here where I can say, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and hit save. Now let's go ahead and hit save over here, and that'll refresh our preview. That looks pretty good. I like that. I'm curious why they made the hours in the same kind of call to action as the button. Just as a marketer, I probably wouldn't have done that, right? I want the focus to be solely on the call button. I also wonder about the radius here on the button. It's not exactly my taste. I'd love to have a way to change that style a little bit. It just seems a bit big. I suppose I could just remove the call button text altogether, and people get kind of the idea that they don't need. It's still a little bit wonky in terms of the design, which if you're doing this for clients, they might be particular about that kind of stuff, right? I could probably live with it, but I could see certain brands saying, no, that should be a circle, or that should be a square. Change that to a square. And you're kind of like, well, the tool doesn't let me. Okay, then that's still on you. So this has a lot of functionality, and one of the problems with tools that have a ton of functionality is that they can't always build in all of the features that the most discerning person might expect to see. So just one of the trade-offs when you have something that has 12 friggin' chat widgets. That's a lot of chat, or 12 different tools you can add to your lower right-hand quadrant there. All right, we can also add links. Let's check this out. Now, the link launcher just allows you to add an additional link over here. You can see my menu is getting pretty full. I definitely wouldn't want to have this many displaying at once, but let's go ahead and link out to Client Amp, our digital marketing agency. I'll display this always, enter in the URL for Client Amp, open it in a new page, and here are the icons I can choose from. Maybe I'll put a little arrow there for that, and let's see what it looks like. There you go. You can see the arrow to Client Amp. Let's see what that looks like on the front end. I'll go back out here, reload the page, open this back up. Here's the link to Client Amp, opens it in a new window. There's the site. All right, great. Let's move back into another tool here. There's really nothing else to say about this one. Go to Customize Tools. I'll hit Add Tool. We've got 4 left. We already did the link launcher, so you can add more links. Let's see what the video showcase looks like. The video showcase is going to allow you to showcase a selection of videos inside of your chat widget. So I'm going to go ahead and call this one Latest Reviews, and I will name the panel title Latest Reviews as well. And maybe for the introduction text here, I'll say something like, check out the newest LTD deals. Now I have, very similar to the FAQ section, I can add sections as well as videos. So I'm going to go ahead and change this section name to be LTD Reviews and go ahead and hit save. Now I'll add a new video right here, which allows me to title it. So I'll call this one Crisp. Duration, I'm going to make this be, I think it was about 7 minutes. And then I'll hit this add replace button. Now I can either record a video right inside of Birdseed using my webcam, or I can use a video URL. Interestingly enough, rather than just allowing you to paste in the YouTube URL, you have to actually paste in the video ID that comes at the end of the video. I think it's easier for most people to just kind of paste in the actual the URL. So that's an interesting choice. We have the choice between connecting up with Vimeo or YouTube. So let me go ahead and find a video that I can embed. All right, so I've got the URL right here. I'm gonna try and just paste in the whole thing and see what it does, just to see if it's smart enough to kind of go, oh, nope, it doesn't work. All right, so let me go ahead and I'll put it in my bar here. And really what it wants is everything after that equal sign. So I'll paste this in here and then I hit the search button and sure enough, it pulls open that review. So again, I think it's just smarter to allow people to paste in the entire URL. That might be a really confusing point for people who don't understand how URLs work, which is gonna be a decent chunk of the population. Okay, so this is interesting to me. It says new video over here in the preview, although I've given it the title of Crisp and I have saved it. So I don't know if this is just getting stuck in some kind of cache or something, but it's not displaying. What I do want to see is if it's doing that on the front end as well. So here I am back over on my website and let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's see, latest reviews. Yeah, and it still says new review here. So it's not pulling in the title. Another one of these little minor fit and finish things that just needs to get updated is not grabbing the title here. So there you go. That's how you add a video review here. I could add additional ones by just clicking add video, go through the entire process, and I could say this one is tooltip, quick tip. I'm actually going to test this quick off camera just to see if this one will grab the proper title. All right, I have found the problem. So even though it was able to show me the videos over here, and I hit save at the bottom of the screen, I didn't hit save inside of this video. Now that's peculiar because it clearly saved everything. You can see now that I hit that, it refreshed and shows the proper title. I clearly saved everything because it was showing up to users on the front end here. And if I click this, it's going to play the video. But for some reason, it didn't save that title. So I would still, ding this with a bug, but it's one that is not completely broken. You just have to really work the user interface a little bit harder than I would like. All right, going back to the tools over here, because this is the app that keeps on giving. Look at how many items we have in our menu so far. I'm going to go ahead and hit add tool. We've seen the link launcher. Let's check out the testimonials. Here we are down at the bottom. Open this bad boy up. All right, so here is inside the customer testimonials where I can go ahead and add a new testimonial. I'll just fill this out and we can see what it looks like on the front end. All right, so I just went ahead and added a fake testimonial here that says LTD Life is great. And by default, it put it into this hidden category. If I wanted it to display, I would just move it up here to the visible category. And here you can see what the testimonial looks like. Now I should mention that there is a place to add a video inside of this testimonial. So it looks like it went away when I edited it, but if I go to add a new testimonial right here, there's the option for a video URL. So I assume that someone could upload a video to YouTube and then you could display it right inside of your widget. Here's the icon choices for the front end. Let's say I want to have maybe a star right here. Go ahead and hit save. Let's see what this looks like over on the website. There we go. There's our testimonial. I can open it up and see what it looks like. Looks like there's a forward and back button. If you had multiple testimonials, to be able to scroll through it. Another fit and finish thing, since I only have one, I don't want to have these buttons here that don't do anything, right? So it would be smart for them to recognize there's only one review and go ahead and hide those. All right, let's jump back into the tool right here. Now, at this point in the review, I want to point out that you can actually use Birdseed to capture testimonials. You can set up a form that includes all of the information you want to ask people right here. Set up a terms and condition, just acknowledging that you're going to use their words for marketing purposes. And you can even change the button color right down here. I'll open up the capture form. So this is what the testimonial capture form looks like. You could go ahead and just send this to your previous clients that you've already worked with and say, hey, give me a little bit of feedback. They can upload a video testimonial and their logo. Go ahead and fill out the form. And there you go. You've got a testimonial being piped right into Birdseed. By default, again, it's going to go into that hidden category. And then once you're sure it's a good testimonial you want to display to people, you just drag it up into the visible category. So it's a pretty nice system for capturing testimonials. I could see leaving that maybe in the footer of your emails so that people who are working with you know, oh, I can go here and leave them a testimonial. It seems like that'd be a pretty nice thing to do. All right, let's get back. I think we still have a couple tools left to look at here. Timeline. So this is where you can indicate milestones that your company's already hit, as well as indicate future roadmap type of items. I'm going to go ahead and set this up as though it were a schedule for upcoming reviews for that LTD Life. So I'll say that LTD Life review schedule, and I could say, see our upcoming reviews. It's actually something that I get asked pretty frequently is, hey, are you going to do a review for this? Are you going to do a review for that? So on and so forth. All right, so this is set up so that much like the other tools we've seen, we can have different categories right here, and then we can put events inside of them. So let's say I was considering doing a review on Viabill, which is a new Appusmo deal. I could hit add new event here, and I will go ahead and add Viabill. And I could add a date if I wanted to. Maybe I say I get it done by next Monday. And the description would be considering adding a Viabill review. All right, let's save this. And now we can see under considering, it says Viabill review. In progress, I could say add Birdseed, right? So let's go ahead and hit add new event right here. And I'll give this a title Birdseed. And this one should be up, let's say, by tomorrow. and I'll go ahead and hit save here. And now I can see I have two under considering here via Bill and Birdseed, and that's because by default it added that new event under considering. Let's go ahead and move this down to in progress since I'm currently making the video. And now I can see the different types here. I can sort by considering. Now I'm not able to actually maneuver inside of the tool here, but let's go ahead and save it and see how it looks on the front end. All right, I refreshed the front end, but it's still not showing me that timeline. So I don't know, I'm speculating that maybe I've hit the maximum number of widgets I can add here. However, I didn't get any indication on the back end that this one wouldn't display. So let me go ahead and just try to remove a tool that I've added unnecessarily. Let's say this phone contact, I'll hide that tool. And now let's go over to the front end. So remember we had this phone icon. If I refresh that, does it replace it with the timeline? There we go. So it looks like you have a maximum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tools that will display at any given time. Worth noting, there was no indication of that on the back end. Again, not a huge deal, just these little things that you'd think they could pop up an alert to let you know. All right, so here I'm able to sort between the different categories. And you can see here's the one in progress. If I click on that, it gives me a little bit more information. Now I didn't fill anything out about that one. So let's go over to Viable, which actually did add some more details here. So what I'd like to see from this is the same thing as with the FAQ. Can I pop this open into a bigger kind of Kanban view? Can I allow people to vote on features? You know, that would be an entirely different product. However, if you're gonna have something like this, I can't see someone wanting to have a roadmap in their widget, but then not allow any sort of interaction or commenting from users. I think that's one of the reasons that you'd have something like this, but that definitely turns into a whole other ball of wax in terms of, you know, how much work is involved with creating an application like that. Same thing with the knowledge base, right? That's a different product altogether. All right, if you can believe it, we've made it through all 12 of the tools that Birdseed offers. Now let's go through the rest of the user interface and talk about integrations. So this is the dashboard where we can see some analytics. It does have some training videos up here, which is a nice little option. We can see our active conversations right here. So I should note that the analytics dashboard and just clicking on the name of the business up here, that's the same screen. So the active conversations we already saw when we were testing out the chat feature. We can also see the contact inbox where we'll be able to see all of the contact forms and things that have been submitted. That's nice because even if you do integrate with a third-party service, you always want to have duplicates of things in case an integration is losing you know, some of the information. It's nice to have that here. We've seen the customized tools section. Manage users. We can just add up to 15 users per workspace. Here we have proactive messages. This is going to allow you to pop up a message. Let's say when someone gets to your billing page and say, hey, it looks like you're interested in one of our services. Make sure you chat with an agent if you have any questions, right? So it's a proactive message, very easy to set up. Just hit create proactive message. You'll go ahead and add the tool that you want. So let's say it's a live chat. And you can actually display this only on a particular page. So very, very similar to what we've already seen, except this pops open the chat without requesting user interaction. All right, the settings. This is where we're going to be able to access many of the features that we've already customized as we were working with the tools. Things like adding the install code or managing the calendar, the event types. These are where you can find the direct links to that. I should mention there is the ability to customize sounds. So let's say you don't want to have chat notifications making sounds. You can go ahead and set those up right here. You also have the ability to set the reply to email message. I said earlier in this video, you could add an additional user. That's not actually necessary. So I was incorrect. I found this after the fact that you can set the reply to message right here. By default, it grabs your first user and sets that to the reply to message. Now down here, we have our account settings. This is where two very important features live. We can add a new workspace right here. You just click this button and go through the setup process all over again and be able to toggle between those different accounts right from one login. You also have the ability to set up integrations, which I was really disappointed to find out is only Zapier. There's no native integrations with things like MailChimp or your favorite CRM like HubSpot. So you have to go through Zapier. Now I have read some of the comments that this is a really solid Zapier integration. However, it's pretty easy to run out of the free plan on Zapier. You can see you can only create 5 different zaps per account, and you can only do 2-step zaps. So the real problem here is that sometimes you need to have multiple steps to integrate with more sophisticated products. In addition to that, some zaps or some tools are considered premium tools, which are only available once you move up to this $20 a month plan. Now, if you're already using Zapier for your business, you're used to paying that fee, no big deal. Personally, I avoid it like the plague, not because of Zapier having a bad user interface. It's just so slow, right? If I click on all features here, I can see that the zaps run every 15 minutes until you get into their pro plan. And even then, they only run every 5 minutes. So if you do something like a email capture form inside of Birdseed and you promise to send someone a free PDF or a link to an exclusive training video, they're going to have to wait between 15 and 5 minutes, depending on the Zapier plan you have, before they receive that in their inbox. As a marketer, that's just going to kill your conversion rate. So, 5 minutes is a lifetime on the internet. Think of how many different social media things you might click on inside of 5 minutes. By the time it actually hits someone's inbox, they may have already lost interest, or, maybe their appointment started, they were doing it on their phone. So Zapier really just is kind of a deal breaker for me. I don't care much for the platform. It does get not terribly expensive, but you can see that you only hit 20 different zaps for the $20 a month plan. You get 50 for the $50 a month plan. So it can get to be like another one of those nagging reoccurring costs pretty quickly. And the point of Birdseed is that we don't want to have those costs. I want to commend the team at Birdseed. They've been able to roll out an impressive number of features within a single tool and do it more or less pretty smoothly. Now, there are some fit and finish issues that I've mentioned throughout this review, things like uploading a custom icon or clicking that copy URL button when I was trying to embed the code onto my website. Those things aren't working right now, but those are small. Those should be able to be fixed pretty quickly. This happens when a product gets really big and they've got a small bootstrapped team. They're not always able to notice everything that goes wrong. So perhaps they'll watch this review and be able to fix a few of those bugs for us, or other people can report the same issues and perhaps are already working on some of them. So overall, I'm really impressed with Birdseed. The one downside to me is that Zapier integration that I mentioned in the previous segment. However, on an up note, you don't need Zapier for every tool inside of Birdseed. If you're doing live chat, there's not really a reason you'd have to use Zapier. There is a Birdseed iOS app, so you could just chat right back right from your phone. I forgot to mention that during my chat review. I believe there's an Android app as well. They're also working on desktop apps for both Mac and Windows, so you'd be able to interface with Birdseed correspondence right from your desktop without opening the browser. So they got a lot going on. I got to commend them. I mean, it's a pretty daunting task to do everything that they've done already. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 7.3. I believe this is definitely going to be a great deal in the future. However, I never recommend buying on a roadmap. So if you need something like this in your business right now, maybe you're already using Zapier, it's definitely a worthwhile investment in that case. However, if you're just buying it to put on the shelf next to some of your other chat tools and you're not currently doing any chat on your website, maybe let this one go. If this review has been helpful to you and you do plan to go on to make a purchase, please use the link in the description below. That is our referral link for this channel. Kicks us back a few bucks if you click on that. Just takes you right over to Appusmo and allows you to complete your purchase as normal. Doesn't cost anything extra, but it helps us make more reviews like this one. If you have any comments or questions about Birdseed, make sure you leave a message down below. I'll be responding to each and every one of you. And make sure you hit like on this video so I know you appreciate the content. I'll see you in the next review.